Good morning, YouTube. It's 2 more minutes till first puzzle of this year. Advent of Code is released, so we are waiting. We would record our solutions to show you how I approach such kind of a problem. All the solutions I would record would be available on my GitHub, hashed1 Advent of Code 2022. You can find them there. And yeah, the series is done in Rust. I will show you maybe a couple tricks how I would use it. I would try to keep it production ready code, so like high quality, but I will not be very crazy about that. I would try solutions to be quick. Sometimes I may point out what I would do differently on actual production code or what you could improve. But you know, on the other hand, I would like to show you good patterns like for your Rust programming skills. 1 more minute, kind of on hype. Hopefully I would be more on hype than last year. Okay. It's at morning at Poland. And I'm wondering if I will be able to wake up this early every day, but yeah. Also, I think we will not aim for any kind of leaderboards, anything like that. I will be probably on my local WhatsApp leaderboard, but I'm not trying to win this or anything. I just want to do some solutions, and we have our first thing. So calories counting. Santa Santa typically eat regular reindeer food. Some magical energy to work with. Yeah, some fluff. More fluff. Jaggles. Place one important consideration is food calories. Okay, so yeah. Working with some, you know, survival game implementation. Let's take turns. Okay. Okay, so we have some calorie series, and this is how many calories has the first elf, second elf, third elf, and so on. So okay, just how much they carry. Okay, so is hungry. Okay, so simple. You just need to sum those things up and look for max. Okay, my repository. Let's create cargo new min one. Go to my OS. Okay. Okay. One, because there will be probably 2 parts as always, and we want to let no stud IO studin. Okay, we have my lines first. Studin, and what do I want to do? I don't want to collect them. I want to group them, or I can do it easily. not the best idea, but I would just fold my lines. And I would fold them into the vector. Let me check. I would move it to my other screen. So I can see it. But let me check the fold function. So it's like first is how I init. It would be an empty vector. And some number. Vector, I would know the number. The number would be just above with the next item. Vector would be all the calories. No, I didn't need that. Just the max calories. First item is max calories. Second item is my buffer. And what do I do here? I have my line. If line is empty, and okay, my thing should item, but it should also have max both line, so like this, and both is more than max. Then what I return to my second step is buffer 0. And then this thing helping me out is GitHub Copilot, and then else if my line is empty, then I just go with max 0. So now I just handled my empty line case. And now let's go with this other thing, which is not empty line. Else. Line that it should be like I don't know. I do not do error handling here. I know this is maybe not the best. Okay. How do I lock the student by the lines? Oh, I probably know. Yeah, I need to import try it. And line is a result itself, so line be line unwrap, and then line pass unwrap. And I would return max buffer plus calories. Yeah. Flip is, yeah, this is maybe not the best production ready in terms of this iteration, but let's do it this way for now. And my part 1 would just print max. Would refactor it a bit later. What? One. Okay, so what I would now, I would go to day one, I mean day one, testing, and here I would paste my this thing, which is the test input. Let's build it, and cargo run, how it's called, test in, and we have 24,000, which is exactly what it told us to return. So now I can, yeah, I can get my puzzle input, which is personalized apparently. It is not where I download it, it's here. My in. So, and let's go here and use my in. And we have something like this. Submit. I got a star. And now it's part 2. By the time you calculate the answer to Elf's question, they already raised that Elf carrying the most calories of food might eventually run out of snacks. Oh, that would be terrible. I'd like to know the total calories carried by top 3 elves carrying the most calories. Okay. Not very complicated. I'm just thinking how to approach the easiest way. So what I would have here. Okay. Would copy by part 1 here. This puzzle is exceptional in a way that I don't even have reasonable way to pass input before the solution, because I can do it just while reading input. So why not? I fold it again, except the first argument I need to be not the number. I want my three biggest snack holders, call it this way. And I would assume it is always folded. It is always sorted. Okay, I can actually do it. Oh, C1 calories. I think I can destructure this array easily. Okay, so let's do it a bit differently. If it's empty, then I would have another if here. I would like to avoid having this is C1, C2, C3. And here I am with like max dom into beta dom, put some. Okay, so we are adding all elements of the array. And here what I want to do is I want to check if buff is bigger than C1. If buff is bigger than C1, then what I would do, I would go with, I would do it very naively. Let's mute buff. C1 is always the lowest because I want them to be sorted. So it's what I need to do, but I want them to be sorted, so I just sort them. And then I return return buffer 0. And in the other case, I return what I return in this case. I just change the array. Wait. Okay. Also 45,000 should be for the test input. And it doesn't work. Oh no. Why? 0 zeros. And then what could go wrong? First, I want to see this. This is why you always check first your tests. And yeah, as I suspected. Here we have zeros. And now I have my line passed. Let's check. What is it about where? If my buffer. Oh, wait. Some shadowing happens. If buffer is 1. Actually, I think it's okay. But let's rename it just for sake of avoiding any shadowing. Shadowing is not bad, but in this kind of puzzles, it can kill you easily if you don't follow your variables. Okay, maybe let's check what is returned in every step. Here only the array I'm interested in for every elf. And it's never happening. Why? Why it is it works right sometimes. Yeah, here it's sometimes called. Let's go here. I pass my line, and if it's empty, let's read some stuff. Yeah, that's like typical debugging. Oh, line is never empty. Yeah, yeah. Because I'm smart, I'm working on another stood in for the part 2. You know, it is when you try to show something up, and then it doesn't work because of obvious reasons. I already know some things about what my solution should be. I mean, I would just go with input. I would do some slight factor, and it would return me some numbers, and I would do it with some pre-processing. Basically, I would always. I mean, that is not the most optimal way because I could do it just in line. But what I would do here, I would always return the vector of calories for all elbows. So this would be actually a vector. Yeah. If line is empty, right? Then what I do, then I don't care about that, and I return. What do I return? This is the table. Max push my buffer. I return max 0. This part I don't care at all. And this one I return like this. And yeah, I completely skip the second argument, which is my buffer. And then I return my... I sort my max. So I want max to be mutable. Yeah, this is basically what happens when you try to record something. And in part one, I would do this. And I would just find max. Part one is just input it here. No, not even that. Alright. I think it's that. Okay, this is part one. And part two. If it's sorted, the lowest is on the very bottom. It's even easier right now because it's like input, but I want to go from input.len minus reguess until the end. 3, right? It's 3. Then I won't start with 0, yeah. And then I go with iter sum, and that's all. And this may not work if there's not enough items, but yeah, let's not care about this. In this case, let the input is input. Okay, print line part 1, print line part 2. Okay. Still doesn't work because I want to have 45,000. Why? No. Let's see. Yeah, this slice. Three items. I should have 24,000, 11,000, and 10,000. And why I have 6,000? Because the last entry is not considered in this case. That's also kind of fun thing, that I ignored the buffer, but I cannot ignore the buffer. Why? Because I don't have the new line. I don't have to have new line at the very end, so I need to push the buffer here. And now it works properly. Let's remove my debug. Okay. Okay, so now let's run it with my input This should be an answer. Having another gold star. Good. Now let's go to code because yeah, I mean solving those puzzles is always like I promise I would try to explain, but very difficult for me as I am focusing on my thinking process, not even by doing it fast, kind of, but yeah. Let's look at what I've done and what could be done better. So I approached the problem by just folding the incoming lines. So if there's another item, I just add it to the buffer. If there's a new line, I just push it to the vector. And why I told it is maybe not the best production already. I mean, this is nice because it's just, linear complexity. But, I mean, this logic is kind of complex as for this fold. I mean, I actually like folding like this, but it could be done a bit easier by grouping the whole how it's called, iterator first. There is this crate. I think we could use that, but I just don't remember if there is functionality, so I didn't want to struggle too much, but we can check it now. Iter tools. And what you can do here, probably there should be a function like group. Or I'm crazy. It's not something like group. There's group by. Yeah, there is group by. But how it groups? It groups me. Okay. The item goes into the previous group as long as it fulfills the predicate. Right? So I have my iterable here, data, and it's grouped by next element is bigger than previous. Right, I have 1 of 3, so it's a first group, so it's grouped by. Okay, what's wrong with this group? Oh, it's grouped by the fact. Okay, so it's grouped by the fact what is returned by this element. So here this returns true, then it returns false. And how we could apply that? I don't think we can do it with this iterator. Do we have some kind of windows here? Yeah, this is why I actually folded it, because I don't see. No, this can't topography. I don't see any easy function in Rust which would just take my whole iterator and split it with some. Please, isn't there some split function on iterator? It's just like splitting it. I just don't remember anything like that. And I'm actually surprised. No, if it would be slice, then I can try split. Yeah. So technically, I could probably try to collect all of this first vector, then split it, and then merge it. But it's becoming, I think, even more complicated sometimes. So that's why I basically folded it. And in this fold, what is fold basically? This idea from functional programming. I have my item, which is my initial item, and then I pass the item on the first argument to my closure, and my whole closure would return the next iteration of this buffer, right? So I can basically have some mutating state with no mutations. Here I use mutations for this max because I want to parse something to vector, but in functional languages, in most cases, this max would not be mutated. I would just construct new list or something like this, right? So this is the similar idea. I just define every iteration after a function of previous state and the new element, and I return the next state. And my state is my buffer of maximums. In this case, it's more like calories. I could actually rename it to calories because maybe better expresses what is it, and there is a buffer of my next calorie counting and new line. Here I unwrap my line. I could do some error handling, but yeah, I'm too lazy. In fold it is particularly difficult because fold needs to return the next state. So maybe I would show you how it could look like. How you could handle some error handling with fold. You can return result here and let it elide the OK variant. The error variant will be string. Because my state is my string is what's my string? My state is a result, so it has to be result. Okay. Well, now let's unwrap it here. For now. And here what I have, I would call it buffer. Okay. So why would I do that? First of all, that buffer is let's calories buffer be my buffer, but question mark. So if there was an error, I would just forward it with my faults, and now I can actually handle this line properly. I can do map error, or if I would have some like error, I can just convert. I can use it. I would just do to string, right? This would be some error type probably. Doesn't matter. And here in this case, I just return OK. Right. So this is how you would handle errors in folds, right? You just need to first unfold the unwrap the error from inside from the buffer. And yeah, I don't do that because I would need to provide error handling for the whole thing. Or maybe let's do it properly. I will not go too fancy, but I can cargo add anyhow. And I would use anyhow to end up for error handling in the series, just to show you. It's not very much a problem. And you'd use anyhow result for that. And here it would not even be to string, it would be just question mark, because anything can convert to anyhow error. This is the trick here. And then here, here nothing can fail. So okay, we could handle this errors here better, but let's just forward it. It's good enough for this kind of tool. Let's check if anything changed. No, it's fine. Couple things which could be improved. Couple more things. Yeah, basically this is overkill here. I just did it to keep my structure like input print line because yeah, it's clear for me, but I have a problem which I can just solve with one iteration, and I do this extra collect here, right? So I have my extra vectors stored in the memory, which is not very good idea in production. I could basically keep like 3 elements in this array. I could do my 3 array thing here, and it will like good. But I didn't do that because I wanted to go very simple. Yeah, I just collect vector and yeah, that's all. Didn't want to go too crazy. And it is more generic for this puzzle. Doesn't really matter. Here I can improve this, I think. I mean, I may make it more readable. I can just iterate, then I can reverse it, and I can take 3. And then I can sum it. And this is a bit easier to read, at least to me. This one, I know it's sorted. I can go with last, because it's faster. A bit. And I don't think... Do I need to? Yeah, I need to do the reference. Okay, this is my solution. I don't think I can add much more on this, but I would do one more thing here, because I know I would have my structure like day 1, day 2 here and everything, and I want to just be able to compile everything from the top. I would just add the cargo tom on the very top. I would create a workspace here. Members, one. And one thing I want to show you is always add resolver. I think it's done this way. Yeah, and always add resolver, because when Rust 21 came like a year ago, over a year ago, almost 2 years, it changed how dependencies are resolved by Rust, and the version 2 resolver is default for all your normal crates. But there is a problem if you use workspaces, because all crates in workspaces has to use the same resolver. This is given. And they couldn't change the defaults for pre-Rust 21 version. So because of that, they had to keep the old default, which is first version of resolver for workspaces. It is not because resolver 1 is better, because maybe you won't have projects using Rust 21 in your old workspace, which has some older repositories, right? So because of that, they couldn't change default for workspaces. But if you are using workspaces, you always want to add it. For now, it completely doesn't matter for us, but just remember that and just do it always using your workspaces. And then you will avoid very creepy errors regarding dependency resolving. Yeah, okay. Let's add this git day one. Okay, as I said, we are not aiming for any leaderboards, but just let's see how bad we did. Yeah, I'm not surprised we are not past 100, but I should be able to find myself somehow. Personal stats. Yeah, oh, 5,000 people were before me. Not bad. Yeah, I did it in 23 minutes. And if you compare it to best, it would be like no time. And why is that? If we would go, then he didn't even publish. My experience is that those guys, I know them, so it's not like I can judge, but most of them would not use like Rust or other C++ stuff. They would often do it like this whole thing could be probably done in Bash with just very simple, Qt command, and they don't need to compile, don't need to do stuff. And yeah, if you want to go for leaderboard, it's way better to just use your terminal, your DevOps skills. But we are here to learn Rust a bit, and and yeah, I'm very happy with doing it. 20 minutes on record with silly mistakes. Yeah, another reason why we are like so low is doing very silly mistake with input parsing. Anyway, see ya tomorrow, and yeah, tell me what you think about this format. If you like this kind of show up, what should I change? And yeah, welcome to my new channel. This is first video. I will see if I will continue that or not. We'll see how it goes. But this is, yeah, my first trial. Bye.